Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Bridget.
And I'm Wendy.
And this is
Flickin' Beans.
I am so excited for this one. There's a lot to unpack here.
There's a lot. This
You
movie is a lot.
Had never seen Fatal Attraction.
Correct.
Which is, I mean, you almost have to.
I now realize a lot of the references that other movies have made to it. As soon as they mentioned the daughter wanting a rabbit, I was like, oh no, I remember what this movie's famous for. So I knew that.
Yes. Glenn Close still has the knife.
Really?
From the movie in her kitchen. She's like, it's beautiful. It's made of wood and cardboard. And she has it hanging on the wall. And she's like, it's a good reminder that for the guests that they need to leave.
I love that.
So funny too, because she wasn't really a sexy person. She was always playing like that sort of earth mama sort of role. So this was a real risk for her. And there were like 100 actresses considered for this. Mm-hmm. They didn't want her to embarrass herself, and they were just like, nah, I don't see it.
She did great though.
Yeah.
The
hair, which I hate, but it was super 80s. Mm-hmm. Even Jennifer Beals in Flashdance had that crazy deal with your hair.
I actually like that, but I think I'm jealous. Because they have all this volume and I don't have that.
Right. She was considering like, what the heck am I going to do with my hair? And the let it be wild was the consensus. And I think that does work. Absolutely.
It makes her seem a little unhinged.
Yes.
She's not worried about what her hair looks like.
She's got way too much other things on her mind.
Right. You can tell she's a little wild right away, but you don't pick up on the crazy till later.
Right?
That's the problem with people.
I read one of the first things that she did was to take the script to 2 different psychiatrists to say, is this like real behavior?
Yeah.
They both came to the same conclusion that Alex's behavior was definitely classic behavior, especially if she had been molested or tortured while she was a child, and as a result, any emotional pain that she might experience that is associated with sex would provoke an extremely violent response. So, I mean, I get that. Mm-hmm. They don't ever make a point of going into her character and saying this is why she's flawed.
Yeah.
For me, it's almost just like they're just demonizing all women and that she's just this crazy bitch and leaving Michael Douglas's character with no blame.
Mm-hmm. I agree with that. I don't like it when any villain doesn't have a backstory, and hers was muddy and they don't go into that. She's made to be the villain, but he did bring her into their life.
Yeah, there's that one angle, and I mean, I think we see that more today in this modern world, where you know what this is. It's a hookup, and you don't need to discuss it further. You're both adults, and you made this choice. Unfortunately, if you're a married person, you made that choice for your entire family.
Exactly. That's the problem. Is that it affects them too. I did feel that a lot of the dialogue was very realistic in my experience of people that do this kind of. I don't know anyone that's like a full-on murderer, but somebody that's always turning the script, no matter like what you say to them, you don't love me because of this. If you loved me, you would do this. And no matter what you say, they will switch to it again. You're like, well, I did do that. And you're like, yeah, but you didn't do it this way. Like, it's never right.
Yeah.
And so it's not surprising to me that they had a psychologist consult.
People still walk up to Glenn Close today and say, this film saved their marriage. And why would that be? Because they scared straight their cheating husbands?
Yeah. It didn't make you not cheat.
It could go badly.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've never understood people that cheat. To me, it doesn't ever seem worth it. Just to have like one night of fun and wreck your whole life.
Especially in this whole scenario where, oh my God, she's a crazy person. She's going to manipulate in every way that she can and ingrain herself into every facet of life I mean, doesn't he actually tell her to fuck off?
He does.
And she does not.
She did not.
I wonder at what point he realizes that he is completely fucked.
I think it's not until he finally tells his wife. He keeps avoiding it, and now he's like, there's nothing I can do. I have to tell her. There's no way that she's not going to find out now because this woman, she's met her. She came to our house.
Yeah.
She killed our rabbit.
Oh my God.
When you make that decision to cheat on your wife, you're not thinking about the fact that she might come back and try to murder all of you.
Correct.
But you are consciously hurting them.
By sticking your dick where it doesn't belong.
Yeah.
Michael Douglas was filming Wall Street around the same time.
Okay.
And he was everywhere and some kind of hot sex symbol. Do you find him attractive?
I guess. Not really. I mean, I could see it. He's handsome, but he's kind of plain. He's not my type, I guess is what I would say.
And I was trying to decide if I thought old or young Michael Douglas was better looking, but I don't think he's particularly good looking, but he did have a nice bare ass, which was probably someone else's.
Right. It was probably Joey Tribbiani's.
Yeah. Oh, you work in the industry? Yes, I am an ass model.
Hey.
I stand in with my sitting bits.
That actually sounds like a fun job.
I just read something, a joke here I wrote in my notes at where I go. I suddenly realized this wasn't the movie with Sharon Stone's vagina, and I was glad.
I had that same thought. What is the movie with Sharon Stone's vagina?
Basic Instinct.
Basic Instinct. Okay.
And of course, there have been spoofs of Basic Attraction, Fatal Instinct, the Madame Butterfly aria, and the story behind the Madame Butterfly is kind of mirroring that. I love arias.
Yeah.
I couldn't sit through an opera ever. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't want to. But I love just the female arias. Mm-hmm. I could listen to those all day long.
Yeah.
But with the iconic, the light click. click.
Yeah. Click. So simple and so powerful.
I can safely say I've never, ever done that with a light. Daddy, I want a rabbit. Famous last words.
Yeah, that's really sad. When the little kid gets up after finally falling asleep and they're fighting, she gets up and she's crying. And I remember I was close to this age when one of my cats died and got eaten by the neighbor's dog. So it's traumatic. And I remember getting up in the middle of the night because I couldn't sleep. And my dad was on the computer and going in there and being like, I can't sleep because I can't stop thinking about Rosie. Oh. And it triggered me. I was like, oh, this is like that.
Oh. You know, when she approaches the parents when they're fighting during that scene and she's holding a little unicorn stuffy, the director, in order to get that sad expression on her face, he was hazing her from the sidelines going, I'm going to take that stupid little unicorn and throw it away. No. And that made her face change. It made her hug it tighter. But after he was like, I was just kidding. I was not being serious.
We are acting.
But oh my gosh, she was so cute with a funny little haircut.
Yeah, I thought it was a boy.
Like a little rat tail back there. Yeah.
One of the things I liked about this film, and I think films earlier on in the 80s and 70s, it felt like their apartments were like a real apartment. A real place that you could live, unlike Flashdance. Oh, yeah? You had this big, beautiful loft apartment that you would never be able to afford. They lived in a modest apartment. There was clutter. Yeah. It felt cramped like it would in New York. Yeah. And she lived in a one-room apartment. I was like, oh, hey, this is realistic New York. Oh, yeah. Because movies now, if you live in New York, you have this high-rise, beautiful apartment, no matter what your job is.
That helps the viewer see themselves in that family situation. Mm-hmm. Oh, look, they're just like us. Yep. Totally normal. This can happen to you.
Yes. This is a warning sign to not cheat on your wife or sleep with a married man, really. And why do we confuse those two together? Were they around the same time? Basic Instinct was later, right?
And no? That had Michael Douglas in it, too.
Oh, that's why. Yeah. Okay. I will say he's more attractive than Andrew McCarthy. To me. He has pretty eyes, I guess. Maybe that's part of his appeal, though, is that you can picture yourself being him or her, because they weren't, like, crazy attractive.
Fun fact, Glenn Close actually found out that she was pregnant during the filming.
Oh, jeez.
She also suffered, like, mega ear infections and from all the water, underwater scenes and all that. And so looking back, she was like, oh, I wish I kind of hadn't compromised my baby's health, you know, by shooting those scenes. But she didn't know it, you know, until she'd already done it.
But she was fine. She had a happy, healthy baby. Okay.
Yep, everybody's fine.
That's good. The ending scene is very scary to me. It was shot well. The knife and everything. Well, and knives, you know what it feels like to get cut by a knife. I don't know what it feels like to get shot by a gun. So I know when she's like slicing his arm, I'm like, I know what that feels like.
It's just terrifying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess who are we supposed to be rooting for in this movie?
Nobody.
Ourselves, man. Stay true. Stay in school.
Right. The very end, they spend a really slow, long time zooming in on the family photo. And I'm not sure what that's supposed to make us feel. Are we just supposed to think about it more? That it's a family? I kind of got the feeling that it's like, this is a facade, this picture of this happy family, and it's nothing like that. In the other room, like, they're bleeding out because they just murdered someone in their bathtub. Right, exactly. We all have our body in the bathroom.
Why isn't that the phrase instead of skeletons in the closet?
I don't know. Body in the bathroom's fresher.
I like that.
If you keep the body in the bathroom long enough, it becomes a skeleton. But you can donate your body, but you can't, like, guarantee what they're going to do with it. You might end up sliced into a million pieces and put between glass at a museum.
Okay, I will.
I think it's kind of cool.
Did we do it?
I think we did it.
All right, we
flick some beans. Okay, love you. Bye.
Bye.
Party all night.